Hi there.
Hi, I'm looking for the beautiful Farrah Abraham. How are you?
This is her. I'm doing good.
Woo!
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Farrah Abraham, who, by the way, will be performing tomorrow night at Stand Up New York, right there at Bond 45. There's an 8 o'clock show. There's a 10 o'clock show. Get your tickets right now. StandUpNY.com. Yeah. So, Farrah, tons of stuff. By the way, thank you for being on the show. That's number one.
Thanks for having me.
I have to answer this question because you have been kind of vilified in the world as like the girl from Teen Mom, and she's the blah, 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 all that stuff, the low-hanging fruit of everything, even like the porno, the whole thing. I asked Carol Baskin this when in the height of Tiger King. I've already told people I'm going to ask you this, so I'm going to ask you the same question. What's it like to be hated? Like, what does that physically do to you? Because there are a lot of people that write bullshit about you or don't even know you, write negative stuff, this, that, and the third. What's it like for that to be for you?
Yeah, I think when I recognized hate, because I was very popular growing up still. Sorry, my son is just... I think I just recognized hate as, I used to ask my dad, like, what is this or why is this? And my dad just was like, it's prejudice, it's hate, it's blind hate. And he goes, and that's why we need to, remain positive and love ourselves and show them how to love and show them how to be kind. So I have to say, just from like growing up and being popular and being hated from a very young age and in around my family, and then, it just being magnified with the masses, I just have learned so much that, I don't ever really want to be a hater. I just really want to stand for what is right and know what's wrong and really find my peace and my joy and my happiness. So I guess that's just how I look at hate. It doesn't matter to me if I was famous or not.
All right. I don't even think it matters if you were famous. I'm just talking about because... the level of, look, I'm not even going to lie to you. Never watched an episode of Teen Mom or 16 and Pregnant. Never watched it, but know who you are besides the porno. I know everything besides all that. I know, I know who you are because you became a celebrity. You became thing. You became that thing. So how, in that world, is it safe to say that because I watched something the other day about you. Were you doing another reality show? That was.
I did a couple. I've done a bunch of them.
No, not the Millionaire Matchmaker. It was something that was solely about you. Because I know you and your daughter and your mother were in it and your father. And they
maybe like Being Farrah, like a Being Farrah special on MTV.
Yes, that's probably what it was. I believe because I remember it was something from the UK. Like MTV UK was having it on or something, and it showed me. Cool. Yeah, it showed me that because you brought up something in the show that the adult movie changed your whole world because of your mindset of what was going on during that time period. Where and I'm not knocking you for it. I'm just saying because I have mental damage. I think the whole world has mental damage. So I'm not knocking you for it. I'm just saying that doing that, the aftermath from that, did that change your life? Because you in that special, you come off kind of normal. You have a great house. Your kid's doing fine. Your mom was trying to move in, I think, at one point. It was weird. You didn't want her in there. Like that one thing, did that send ripples and thus change the person that you are now? Because you seem like a totally different person now than you were then.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of women or men, you've run into you trying to get your own identity and you owning yourself. You have a lot of people growing up who will tell you who you are, what you're going to do for them. There's a lot of non-consensual behavior, and until you learn, the laws and, you learn, no, these are my rights in the Constitution that all of us born on Earth have. And I think being famous and, going through grief and bereavement and running into people who did work in the porn industry. And then some things that had happened to me in my personal or sexual life were very non-consensual and also some very much illegal. And so I had to just stand up at that time and really say, like, I am going to do my best to figure out this situation because it's obviously my fault. But I think a lot of women who are have sexual coercion happen to them. You know, it's not just me. It's millions and millions of people, and it also affects young men. You know, sexual coercion can happen to everyone, and I think you learn to say, hey, like, enough is enough. You've crossed the line. It's not going to happen anymore. And, like, I'm not going to have those people around me anymore. And so that's really what I did. And even though it turned into, like, the most watched, the most famous celebrity sex tape, it's, like, the best one. You know, Vivid made
#1, baby.
A second edit of it. So, you know, lots of people still buy it till this day. You know, thank you.
Look, I'm not going to say I haven't watched it. It's good. I'm not going to say you're very sexy in it. I don't approve of your dance partner in it. A guy that after, of course, it's always the aftermath that we've heard bad shit about that guy and everything else. I don't even want to say his name, but a gentleman.
Yeah, he's a woman abuser.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of men saw me trying to stay positive, especially when, like, I just really wasn't doing well. My self-esteem, everything wasn't doing well at that time when that was made. And then when it was public, it was like a whole situation with men saying, how dare I don't know, have my own rights to my own stuff and, you know, be kind of empowered as a woman. And I think they didn't realize, like, by me hearing that and seeing that in men and them not knowing who they were talking about, because I saw the person for who they were.
Yeah.
Like, I witnessed it. It did not feel good. It was abusive. And then, you know, it took people, like, I think 3 years or 4 years after to understand, like, that was a woman abuser. And his girlfriend, I think, had committed suicide, and there was all these other things that had happened with him. So I just have to say, like, I've just really stood in, like, I am not for woman suppression. I am not for sexual coercion. I have no problem with couples at home making non-porn porns. I think everyone should do it. I think everyone should record, you know, all their fun stuff, whether they're happy or not, and whatever makes you feel better. I just want everyone to have a good sex life. And that's why I made female and male novelty toys, and we sold out across the world. So, I mean, there's a purpose for positive sexuality. So I'm happy to chat about it.
No, absolutely. And I'm not one of those people that I like to be wanted during sex. Crazy, kooky me wants to actually be wanted by the girl. Yeah, and I want her to want me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to just, like, force her down on the bed and do stuff to her. And what I've heard is this jagoff, who shall remain nameless, but you can Google it if you want, because I don't want to give his name out, because I don't want to give him any more fucking press than he doesn't deserve. There's a long list of shit associated with that gentleman. And if you look it up, and by the way, that guy was supposed to be on our show one time, a long time ago, and then some more bullshit happened in the news, and then he never got on our show. And it was weird.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm saying. So, like, there's a long history with this guy and his bullshit and everything else. So, that was then. And now watch this segue, Farrah. Boom! And now we're doing comedy. So, and usually, by the way, what they say, being that I am like a sit-down comedian, and I do study comedy left, right, center, I understand that comedy is built out of the bullshit that is your life. The dark parts of your life, the heartaches, all the shit you have to overcome. That's why comedy exists. That's what fuels comedy. It's usually the most fucked up people have the best comedic value of the earth. You now going to be performing in stand-up comedy. How the fuck did you go from where you were, teen mom, 16 and pregnant, the porno, the sex toys, all that shit? How the fuck did you go from all that take the highway over here to Comedyville. How did that happen? You mean, like, how do you do that?
You know, I'm a New York Times bestselling author. I write. I'm a screenwriter. I'm a businesswoman. I'm everything.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you.
Please do.
Because, again, it's probably a little dark, but, like, on a high note. So back in the day, like in 2012, I really loved that I got asked by Dave Attell to be on his Comedy Central episode. I was going through so much negative stuff with that sex tape that was sensationalized, and that's really why he wanted me on there. I think you couldn't talk to any comedian at that time without them having backdoor teen mom come out of their mouth.
You were definitely a punchline, yeah.
Yeah, comedians were just so attracted to that and buzzwording it, and, you know, it was cool, but I didn't really like it. I love comedy, always did, but I just didn't think, like, I could tolerate being around people all the time in comedy, just continually saying that. It was just like, it was just like, there's more to life than this. So I studied comedy through COVID and through all my other degree programs. And then I was like, I don't know if I can figure out how I want to do it yet. And I think there's so many different levels to comedy. I like other comedians who respect what I want to do in comedy, and I let them do what they want to do in comedy. Mm-hmm. I do not like, since now, like, dropping into comedy, I do not like how other comedians think I need to do or be like them or fit into, like, their comedy cult. I do me. And, like, that's what I'm going to do the rest of my life, and that's what's helped me be the best person I am. So the reason why I chose to actually step out, do a huge comedy debut, and get a sponsor and do everything properly, to be honest with you, I was, like, really sexually assaulted 4 years ago, and I think, like, it's all over in the news as well. Like, Howie Mandel asked me about it and a couple others. And I think through all this ketamine treatment, my deep trauma work, and just, like, life, I was so tired of being in victim groups where everyone felt like they couldn't go move on and they can't laugh anymore and they can't, you know, just go say what the world is like and laugh at it. And I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to, like, I need to stop doing these groups, and I need to just go out, and I need to, you know, I was working on comedy. I want to go do comedy my way. And so when I approached, like, some sponsors and some companies, they were like, yes, we love what you wrote. Even if you don't say it on stage, like, you are perfect for this. And I think, yeah, if you're funny, if you're comedic, if you can say some dark stuff in kind of like a graceful way, and you can laugh at every one of your dark days, I think you are always going to be the best comedian, because you're transparent, you're honest, you're credible, you're a substantial person. And I think, like, that's what I loved hearing about, like, Dr. Drew when he left my comedy debut. He was just like, Farrah is a substantial person. Like, even if I was telling a story, someone got something out of it that night. And that's what I love about comedy.
Well, that's the thing. Comedy is what you have to be able to laugh at trauma. That's how you get over trauma. Yeah. If you never laugh, and I'm talking about everything, and a lot of people would say, like, oh, dude, there's so many things that you can't, they're taboo, and you can't do it. Comedy is everything. You can make dead baby jokes. You can make freaking Nazi jokes. You can make whatever. AIDS jokes. I mean, nothing should be off the table when you're doing comedy, and that's the thing. If you've been through so much shit, which you have been, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna knock you. I'm not the biggest reality show fan, so I don't give a shit about your reality show career. I care about the stuff that went on in your real life. All that shit makes you have the fuel to do comedy. That is what the basis of comedy is. My life is literally the same thing. I have taken all the bad shit and turned it into comedy, because that's what you have to do. You can't just let it, because if you don't, the darkness takes a hold of you, and you might as well just freaking blow your brains out. Sorry, suicide hotline. That's what you might as well do, because that
there's support groups. Yeah. There's support groups.
I'd be great in those support groups. I'd stand up and go, all right, you should kill yourself, but you have some fucking talent. You get up. You stay in America. You're allowed to live. You get the fuck out. Because that's what people don't understand. A lot of comedians are hurt. That's why we're comedians. Do you understand that, people?
I do feel like there's a line, though. I do, because I don't go only to, like, the best comedy shows in the world. I do stop by local bits. I will say, like, half, or the majority of everybody in this world, we have disabilities, including myself. I do believe those who understand themselves, know their disabilities, like, they do the best with their comedy on stage. When you show up some nights and you're like a hot mess, you don't take, I guess, accountability for your disability. And it's almost tragic. Like, I brought one of my boyfriends to, like, a small comedy show one night, and you could just tell, like, the comedians did not take any accountability for their mental health. They just wanted to actually scare people. And I was just, I'm not affected by anything. But I was like, there's a horror, like for Halloween, there are horror houses. If you want to go scare people and intimidate people, then you need to go work at the scare house down the street.
Exactly.
If you know how to really put on a show and, like, bring people with you in the dark and the light and craziness, that's a comedy show. So I do feel like some comedians do get it confused and twisted. Like, if it's like a horror house for, like, Halloween, or if it's a comedy show. Like, sometimes there's just a fine line for me.
And that's why, like, one of the greats in the business ever, Joan Rivers, would say all the time, I want to be laughing, I don't want to be crying. Because that's the whole thing. If I'm laughing, even at all my shit, and she would tell jokes about everything. There was never, Joan Rivers would tell jokes about everything. Like, she talked about, like I said before, from dead babies to her plastic surgery. Everything was on the table because that's what you have to do. You have to laugh at life, because if you don't laugh at life, life kicks you right back in the nuts, whether you have nuts or not. Yeah. I mean, today with the transgender people, you might have nuts now. I don't know. Yeah. People have them. So I got to ask you this, though, because I only got a couple more minutes with you. Are you going to do, like, stand-up, go on the road and do stand-up? Or are you only doing these selective shows?
So, I don't know if you knew, but yeah, I'm doing selective shows right now.
Okay.
And the reason being is there were so many issues with the comedy debut. The opening comedian did, like, a copyright strike on my comedy debut special that's on YouTube. So, like, corporate's dealing with that legal problem right now and trying to get the special back up. There was also just, like, a Jersey Shore love triangle attack that I was, like, put in from them showing up to my comedy show. Okay. So I'm just kind of working out the kinks and preventing more legal problems because I don't have time to deal with any more legal problems. And then hopefully my team and everyone, we're going to feel, like, sound to go out and, like, do a full tour, have, like, a TV comedy special beyond YouTube. And then I also just wrote, like, my first rom-com film. So hopefully with, like, some film festivals and some other wins, we'll be seeing me, like, with my own, comedy film. So well, I'm just excited, it just takes a little bit of time to do it right.
If you want a fat DJ to be in your rom-com, right here.
Yes, okay. You're my
just
guy.
Saying, look, Kevin James was in Hitch. I can pull it off, is all I'm saying.
Yes, you can.
If you want to see Farrah Abraham, Diary of a Teen Mom comedy tour tomorrow night. Live on stage. Damn right, it's a double whammy. There's an 8 o'clock show, there's a 10 o'clock show. She's going to be performing at Stand Up New York, right there at Bond 45 in New York City. This is not the small venues. This is not the small stage. This is a big-time stage. This is a big place to do the show. She's doing 2 performances, an 8 and a 10, go. And this is her proving ground. I say let her go out there. Sink or swim, she's going to go out there, she's going to perform, and if you want to see it live, if you want to see her dabble in the comedy world, this is where you're going to go. Go to Stand Up New York or standupny.com and get your tickets now, because, she's following the next level of her dream. She's doing what she's doing. She's either going to be really good or she's going to suck, but quite frankly, she's starting out. So who knows? You might see some of the best comedy you've ever seen in your life. Who the fuck knows? You don't know, so you might as well go and see it and check it out. That's what I would do.
It's going to be a great time. We're going to have the best night ever. So, yeah, stop by, see if I sink or swim, but usually I fly. So, Thank you so much.
Thank you. By the way, with that Jersey Shore thing, was the situation giving you shit?
It was like a guy named Vinny who dated
I know
Angelina
Vinny.
from Jersey Shore. Yeah, and I don't know. There was like some breakup, and honestly, I didn't even know who he was. He was just taking pictures with me at the show and then was trying to hit on me, and it was just not a kosher thing. It was just wild. And no love triangles. I'm not dating right now. Don't come for me.
Look, she's been there. She's done that. Now she's doing comedy. Leave her the fuck alone. Let her do her show. Let's see what happens. The one and only Farrah Abraham. Round of applause, gentlemen, for Farrah Abraham. Yeah. Thank you for being on the program. You are one hell of a... Thank you, baby. You go out there. You go kick ass, all right?
You.
All right.
Thank you. Yes. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, everybody else in the world is going to knock her, and I'm like, why the fuck am I going to knock her for?
Should you? Yeah.
She's doing a comedy show. Is it going to affect my life in any way, shape, or form? No.
We don't know until
and we don't know. She could be good.
She's taking
the next Joan Rivers. You never know.
Yeah.
Taking pain and turning it in.
And that's what comedy is.
She's
and
trying.
More than likely, most of the people in the crowd could probably relate to the things as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you heard some of the shit she actually went through, because I didn't want to bring up everything. I'm not sitting there doing. I'm not Barbara Walters. We're not doing an expose. We're sitting here. We're hyping up her comedy event.
That
we're not
time
saying,
in third grade when you stubbed your toe. Do you remember the pain and agony?
If you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
I hit my toe the other day. I could tell you about the pain.
There you go.
Yeah, and I'm sure, and I'm sure that Ricky could probably do 20 minutes on stage about the fucking toe.
You better believe it.
You know what I'm saying?
Now you're talking.
This is what I'm saying.
Toe pain is bad.
Look, I always have this firm belief that anybody can do comedy. Everyone but Joe. Anybody can do comedy.
Even Joe.
Joe would have to work on his delivery as shit.
He can work with a deaf crowd.
Yeah. How Joe's very funny.
Everything's funny in sign language.
Maybe if I did like a Special Olympics type of comedy, like
Joe, you are in the Special Olympics.
And that's why we have to take a break.